Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am so blessed and honored to bring to you a very unique show, a show that I've been wanting to do for over a year, and it's finally happened. So I'm super excited about that. So I hope everybody just hops in. If you're watching right now at home, hit that like button. Go ahead, get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are in the world. We're going to be talking about India today. Really excited. The continent within the continent of India. We're going to be talking about, maybe some myths around that. We're going to be talking about expat experiences over there. What do expats need to know? We're going to get a vibe for the whole continent or subcontinent as a whole, and just talk to an expert in Bindu Menon. We're going to bring her out here in a second. Can't wait to do that. Before we get started, also want to do a little housekeeping here and let you know it is Move for Hunger's Hunger Action Month this month. The month of September is Hunger Action Month. Every Thursday in the month of September, we're going to be dedicating a show to Move for Hunger. We're going to be raising money. Hopefully, we raise $50,000 this month. And to do that, we are doing a fundraiser around some t-shirts and some socks. So you remember last year we had the black t-shirts with the gold print. It was pretty flashy. It was crazy. We did a rebrand for Love and Relo since then. And now we have new t-shirts and socks just in time for ERC, IAM, all the conferences. So check out moveforhunger.org/loveandrelo21. Hit that up. Don't navigate away from the show. Stay on the show, multitask. Go on your laptop, go on your phone, whatever you got to do. moveforhunger.org/loverelo21. Go ahead. A $70 donation gets you both of those things. I can't wait to see everyone posting pictures of their t-shirts and their socks supporting Move for Hunger. 100% of the money goes to the charity. Second thing I want to encourage you to do, please follow Love and Relo's LinkedIn page. This is super critical. So far, all of these shows have been coming from my personal LinkedIn page. But as we start to do more content and more things and have more shows and more hosts, just kind of a teaser, it's going to be coming more and more from the Love and Relo page. So go follow the Love and Relo page. You'll see a bunch of great jobs being posted on there all the time. Shout out to everybody who's helping us with the jobs. Keep posting them on there, as well as other ways that you can impact the community. So go to the Love and Relo page. I think we had 900 subscribers. Hopefully we can get over 1,000 by the end of this week, and so on and so forth. So that'd be awesome. And then lastly, and this is kind of a great dovetail, we're launching Her Story. So everyone knows what history is. Well, now we're launching Her Story, powered by Love and Relo, but it's really all about women's stories. And Peggy Smith is going to host that entire series. I can't wait. This is something her and Susan Benavides has been, working on. And big shout out to Jana Chazanowski, who's been working behind the scenes to make this all happen. I think Meredith Morris might be one of our first conversations we have coming up. So there's going to be a lot of fantastic stories told by women about their story. And so it's going to be great. So make sure to follow Love and Relo so you get all of that. So now, without further ado, we are going to welcome our first guest from India, live from India right now, Bendu Menon. Look at this, Bendu, founder of ReloIndia. How are you doing, Bendu?
Good evening, Ben. It's a pleasure being here. I've watched all your shows and I'm thinking I'm here with you today. And it's 1:30 a.m. in India for me, but I'm trying to look as fresh as a daisy here.
Oh my gosh, you look amazing. You look amazing. 1:30, 1 in the morning right now.
And no coffee, no coffee.
How do you do it? What do you do? I'm drinking coffee. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm drinking coffee. What do you drink over there? Stay so fresh.
I think you're just going to keep me fresh. I can see that. Yeah. There's so much energy in your shows that, I really like being here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's so rare. I said in the opening, actually, that this is the first show we've ever done with someone live from India. And this has been something I've been wanting to do for over a year. And we've talked about it, and we could never find someone who would stay up late enough to come on the show. Bendu, thank you.
Hey, I'm happy to be the first one then.
This is great. Let's find out where everybody else is in the world, and maybe we can give a couple shout outs here. If you're checking in right now, go ahead and hit that like button. Please hit that round of applause for Bendu just for staying up. Let us know what your questions are. If you have questions about India, let us know. We're going to answer them all here. We're going to dispel some myths. We're going to kind of fact check some things. Jamie checking in. Cheers from sunny Mississippi. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you. Tim Quirt, Western New York's looking forward to today's show. Everyone's got great weather. How's the weather in India today, or at least your part? Let me ask you. Better yet, where in India specifically are you, Bendu?
I'm currently in Chennai, which is South India, but I travel between Mumbai and Chennai. Mumbai is West India, the financial capital, marketing and financial capital of India. But it depends on the work that is there. I travel. I manage the pan-India operations for this consultancy that I do, so I have to travel.
So what is that travel? What is that travel like? I mean, between Chennai and
Mumbai, about an hour and plus, about 1.5 hours maybe by flight.
By car, train, flight?
No, by flight. Yeah, I have to fly.
Flight. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to drive it, what would that be like?
About 36 hours or so.
Oh wow.
Wow. Little, okay. It depends if you stop over for the night.
I would imagine you would. Yeah.
We wouldn't be driving on work. No,
definitely not.
We would always,
So, and this actually leads me to ask another question. And everybody who's watching right now, I want to know your questions about India. I want to know your expat questions. I want to know your questions from a relo standpoint, whatever service vertical you're in. If you touch India, I want to know what your questions are, what your thoughts are, what your observations are. This is an opportunity to talk to an expert here in Bendu. But Bendu, I'm also operating from a premise that's probably flawed. I'm talking about India as if like, what's the weather like in India? That's like saying, what's the weather like in America, right? I mean, it's vast. It's a vast geographic place. It's also, I mean, how big is India, and what are some of the misconceptions about it?
So everybody looks at India as a country. It is a country for all practical purposes on the map. But there is a map that's floating around. It's on. You can just Google and see. You can fit in all of Europe, and you will still find place to fit in another country there. So you can imagine how big that is. And each country, each state in India is as good as a country in a continent. So you should look at India. That's the first thing I tell expats. You should look at India as a continent and not as a country, because from north to south to east to west, every state is different. Every state has their own language, their own culture. The same festival in India can be celebrated in that many different 29 states in that many different ways. So it's definitely not one country, and there is no one language either. So it's that big. So when somebody asks me what the weather is like or what the transport is like, I get questions from RMCs which says, what is the transport cost for India? And I have to actually break it down and say, hello, wait, let me tell you. So transport cost, do you want it in the city, in this particular state, or do you want it in the tier 2 cities? So it's that layered. It's not one cost. So
that makes so much sense. I mean, it's just like if someone were to ask, I love my dad's calling me. My dad's calling me. It's great. It's just like, it's just like if someone were to say, what's it cost to move to the United States?
Yeah.
Right. And you could talk about San Francisco, you talk about New York, you could talk about Indianapolis, they're all different. I love this. This is great. I tell them to learn a lot here. I want to know your questions out there. Vinny Valverde. Hi, everyone. Cheers, everyone. Vinny, AKA the host of the ever popular match game here on Love and Relo. Thank you, Vinny, for doing that last week. That was amazing.
Vinny is popular on all these shows. I see him on a couple of shows like this, yours and
Vinny's amazing. Vinny's amazing. Get active in the comments. Let us know who you are, where you are, what you're up to. Give us questions about India for Bendu. Craig Allen, Idaho welcomes you, Ben. Thank you, Craig. It's been a while. Appreciate that. Hope to see you at IAM. Ray Abbott, good afternoon, everyone from Tippett Richardson, Vancouver. Thank you, Ray. Hope to see you at IAM also. Jody Lindemann, hi from sunny California. What's up, Jody? Mary Lee, checking in. Hello. Good to see you.
Hi, Mary Lee.
Yeah, look at that, Mary Lee. Jana says, I'm so happy to start the week with Bendu. Hello from Curitiba. Look at that. Jana's visiting her mom down in Curitiba. Richard Majewski, hey, Ben, London missing you. Is that a London accent you've picked up? I can't understand a word now. No, I did pick up some words, Richard. And I also picked up this lovely coffee mug with all the tube stops. Yeah, see, Stacy's looking. Everyone's looking. This is great. I was actually near the Barbican stop, if anybody cares. Nobody does.
Is that your first visit to London?
Bindu, I'm embarrassed to say it's my first transit transoceanic flight. It's my first, trip to a new continent. But I'm hopeful that it is not my last. I'm hopeful this is
I'm
the
not
start of many
surprised,
things.
Ben. You're American, so people just live in America all their lives, right?
Yeah, we do. We enjoy it here. Yeah.
Just kidding.
We do. But I mean, I do want to hear, and we're going to get into India and everything. And I am intrigued by it. And I'll be honest, I have some preconceived notions and I have some fears. I've been invited to India and I'd love to go, but I have some things I'm kind of afraid of. Right.
That's why you should
And
talk to me.
I'm going to, and I think that's
Yeah.
probably what you do for a living.
Yes.
Speaking of which, why don't you tell us, just for a little context, a little bit just about yourself and about ReloIndia and what it is your company does.
Yeah, so I've been in this industry for about 15 years now, the Indian relocation industry, as we call it, and I manage expats moving into India. I manage pan-India business for wherever I was in the previous organization for about 8 years, and then as a consultant with my own firm, ReloIndia, is something I started in 2015 as a consultancy because of the expertise that I had, gained over the 8 years of working in an organization that was solid and that had given me the right experience and also the right connections, because I was the single point of contact for all the RMCs, wanting to partner with Indian relocation companies. So the worldwide ERC conferences, all those, opportunities gave me plenty of connections. And I am a people's person. So what I did was continue networking and, keeping in touch with them. And so till date, I'm still in touch with them. And so we offer from ReloIndia, it's anything to do with Indian cultural acclimatization. Expats moving into India on short term or long term, or it could even be something that people come here to set up plants. They're coming to look at. There's Bayersdorf from Germany had come down once, and they wanted to see where to set up plant. So it could be mergers and acquisitions. They want to know how to go about. If I'm taking over an Indian company, what should I know? So it could be any part. Like I said, just because I have helped an expat moving to, let's say, Bangalore in South India, it's not the same as helping an expat move into, let's say, another city called Ahmedabad in the west of India. Completely different. So I need to know everything about every region, if not at least.
Give me an example. Let's dive into that just a little bit more because I want to be specific. I want to understand this. What kind of differences might arise? Because I don't even know. I wouldn't even know.
So to begin with, to the Western world, we might all look Indians, right? And it starts with color. You might just presume that I'm giving you the stereotypical perceptions that Indians are, let's say, colored, dark-skinned. We're not. You go to the west of India, you go to the north of India, and everybody is as fair as the complexion is like almost, you can even mistake them for being from somebody in the west, right? It's that kind of a complexion, completely different. So from that, so I'm talking about the visual difference that you will see, to the language we speak, everything is different. The food we eat, and the way we commute, even perhaps the transport, everything is different from one state to the other. In fact, from even borders, we might share the same borders, but one state and the other speaks completely different languages, completely. So you can't presume that, oh, I've lived in South India and so I kind of can manage. No, South India has 4 states and each state speaks different languages. It's that different.
This is really great. And I knew there were different cultures. I knew there were different languages. I don't think I knew how many. Sandra Clary actually comes in here and has a great little comment. She says, for one of our mobile app customers, she's with Enterprise Database Corporation. They make apps for movers. We were asked to include content in 10 of the many languages spoken in India. As Bendu says, having local expertise is critical to success for a company, a relocation, or a temp assignment.
Yes.
Yeah, really interesting.
I always say this: one size doesn't fit all in India. So if a product is coming down to India, especially when multinational products are launched in India, typically they would release the ads. I come from about 12 to 15 years of advertising experience too. So I know what it is like when you plan your communication strategy, boom, the ad, with a full page ad will appear in the papers in Hindi. People think India speaks Hindi. They don't. You can put up an ad in Hindi for an automotive or an FMCG brand, and then the person sitting in South India doesn't even understand what you're trying to say. completely Greek and Latin to him. Yeah?
So what is the language of advertising?
You have to be region specific. You have to be, if it is a brand which, see, now the other thing is, it depends on the society you're talking to. If it's the urban society, India is pretty much well connected with English. More than 450 million odd Indians speak English. So the English
out of how many Indians? Let's give this is an opportunity, I think, to give us some scale. You said 400-ish million
450,
Indians
let's
speak
say
English.
about
450.
yeah. We're talking about 1.39 billion Indians, and that's 450 million Indians speak English. So we're talking about, they say that it's almost the size, it's almost a number of Americans living on the planet. That's what I've heard. So
wow.
To put things in perspective, yeah. So the English may be difficult to understand from state to state because they'll have their vernacular influence in their communication. The dialect would be different, but you can still get by. So if an ad is for a BMW car that's launching, you can put it in English. But if you're launching a brand of shampoos with some, herbals in it, and it kind of is talking to a market that is so typically using herbals, somebody who's very traditional, a market that is traditional, you have to get down to that language, vernacular advertising.
So it's not like somebody can say, I'm going to roll out an Indian advertising campaign. You have to say, I'm going to roll out a campaign for the region, and then we're going to do it in this language, this language, this language, and there's probably going to be different treatments, different imagery. Yeah. I mean, it truly is a continent in that regards.
Yes. Even the people, that the models in the ad will have to change. So you can't have just a pan-Indian model sometimes, depending on what the brand is for. If you're showing a woman, if it's a brand for something to do with the home, then it has to be different, right? From how the look and feel of it is, and how they dress, and everything can be different.
All right, this is great. Richard's saying this is fascinating. Thank you, Bendu. I'm riveted. I never realized India was so diverse. Totally, Rich, I agree with you. Aaron, what you're doing is so important. I hope corporations use you instead of charging forward, thinking they know India. Your wealth of knowledge and passion for helping people understand is invaluable and comes through when you speak. Wow, that's nice. You should put that on your website.
Thank you.
That's great. Let's see here. Vinny's got a question here. Vinny says, "Hi, Bendu. Hope all is well. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us. If you were to share 1 to 2 unique things about India and the relo industry there, and some misconceptions, what that we outsiders might have, what would those be?" And I think it's interesting. Vinny ties it into the relo industry as well. So maybe talk about it from an expat standpoint, or from a country moving people to the region.
Yeah. So I tell expats not to depend too much on what they read about the internet. Okay. I say, come with an open mind. The internet will show you, yes, we are a country of snake charmers and elephants and cows all around. And they come here, and then you will see the BMWs and the fanciest of Jaguars and the cars on the streets just buzzing, and you will see the best of flyovers and you see tall skyscrapers, and you're wondering, this is not what I saw. And you read about India being unsafe. You need to carry a bottle of water. You need to be you have to vaccinate yourself against malaria. It's like every expat who's coming into India is going to die of mosquito bites. And then you realize it's not so bad. So everything about it can be. So that's why I think Joanne Robinson, if I'm right, I had the name. She's a Cambridge economist who said that everything you hear about India, the opposite is always true. And as I'm talking, for all you know, somebody will come and say, no, Bindu, that's not right. This is right. And we could both be right.
For everything you hear about India, the opposite is true.
Yes. That's a quote by Joanne Robinson, if I'm right, Cambridge economist. Yes.
That's an episode right there. That's a fascinating statement. So Vinny runs a relocation program. Mm-hmm. And if you talk to clients, corporations who move people to India, who are either doing it now or might be considering doing it, what types of advice, general counsel or general advice do you give to them?
So I'm one of those who's fiercely proud of my country, and I don't like the likes of Slumdog maligning my country or showing us in poor light, right? Because we are far, far richer richer in terms of culture, richer in terms of experiences, in terms of, we are the most unique country in the world, to be honest. We are the most unique country. So what I tell the expats who are coming in is, to begin with, your markets are saturated. You're obviously coming to India because we have the people that your product needs, right? Our people are your markets for tomorrow. So if you're coming to a country knowing that your product is going to grow and you're going to succeed, you have a role. For instance, you're coming here to start a tire factory like Michelin. You know that your role in India is going to make you succeed 10 times more than you would have been in your own country. Say you're sitting in France, but if you were in France all your life, you would not have succeeded this much, right? To begin with. So you need to come with an open mind saying, I am an expat. I'm going into that country to learn something, to contribute my knowledge, to help a developing country grow. Imagine the opportunity that you're getting to be in the world's toughest market, I would say, and to learn those strategies, right?
Yeah.
And apply it. So
I have a question about that, right? So let's play this through for a second. Am I coming in this example because I'm looking for labor, or I'm looking for customers, or both?
You're looking for, you're asking me, or?
Yeah, I'm asking you because I think that the conception is that you go to India looking for, for labor, right? For access to, skilled, less expensive labor,
Yes,
right?
Extremely skilled, less expensive labor. I agree.
Right. But you bring up a great point about the sheer amount of consumers and customers that exist in the continent as well.
Absolutely, because you will understand the dynamics of a market that is so diverse. Which country can teach you that, right? You wouldn't imagine a small tier 2 city like, let's say, Coimbatore. There's a city called Coimbatore in South India. And you see the fancy cars out there. You'll be amazed. They are the richest out there in South India, perhaps because the families own textile mills, and they have factories that are running for generations. And you will see that, say, Jaipur is another small town in North India, and you will see places like that having the best of malls and facilities and brands that are available. So which country gives you this kind of diverse dynamics in a market, consumer market, whichever product it may be?
It's really fascinating. Yeah, it's fascinating because you're talking about like the wealth, right? And you're right, that is a misconception, I guess, that we have, right? Because I think that the perception that is shown in Western media is that India is a very poor country.
So just to give you a perspective, we have the third largest in the world in terms of number of billionaires, about 140 billionaires.
Wow.
So we're talking, the rich in India are extremely rich. You cannot imagine their wealth. Yeah, so much so that I know that girls today are actually saying we don't want boys who are in the Western world, because we go to the West, we have to actually do all the work ourselves. Right? Whereas if I live in India, I can get a chauffeur, I can get a domestic help, I can get a chef, I can get a nanny, I can get everything and have my career. I don't have to give up my career, and I still can travel abroad. I can travel maybe, twice a year, thrice a year. I can go to America or anywhere else in Europe. So I guess the wealthy people in India have come either with wealth from generations, or it's just the business community that has just grown with the right business at the right time, with the right kind of skills they had in the family, in the genes. So
that's interesting. That's really, really fascinating.
But
I want to talk a little bit.
I'll also tell you that on the contrary, you have about 60% of India's population that live under $3 a day.
Wow.
So you will see that's the dichotomy of this country. Right?
That's when you say 140 billionaires, but the opposite is also true, right? So you also have so many people under $3.
Right. But that's an opportunity for you to know that the haves and have-nots will coexist, and you will learn that. It's such a beautiful lesson for a flat society. where you don't see these kind of layers.
It's funny because I was in London this last week, and I was reflecting on, how much wealth some people have in that town, and then how much, how people are, there's a lot of blue collar, what we call blue collar labor, labor class people. And then of course my next thought was, well, gosh, we have that in the United States, and people are talking about how the gap is widening with the Silicon Valley billionaires and the working class people in the middle America who just don't see a path forward for themselves, and so it's interesting to see these disparities, and I would imagine that India is probably one country where they're the greatest. But I think it's interesting you point out the lessons that can be learned from that. We've got a couple questions. Let's take a couple questions if you don't mind. Bendu.
Sure.
You ready for a couple questions? Keep these questions coming as well. We got a bunch of people out there. Hit that like button here, and I appreciate it. Brain drain is happening. Interesting. Preet says, very interesting. Many of my Indian young professionals from North America returning back to start businesses or work. Are you seeing this trend right here, Bendu?
We are seeing that a lot of them who have lived for more than, I have friends and family who were, after 25 years of being the Indians who have gone outside, especially to the Western world, come back very rich, because it's the money that they earn and the difference that the inflation causes in the sense, whatever you earn there can make you live very well when you come back here. So 25 years of living in the US makes you want to come back and start. You can come back. By then you're settled, you've got your house, you've got your cars, your children are well educated, and in any case, if they've been raised in the US or in UK or Europe or wherever, chances are the children are not coming back. You probably coming back, and the children would be going to university and so on. So all that is taken care of. You come back, you can start your own business, you can put in all the money there, and there's enough opportunities to flourish. And it's a market that's giving birth to new opportunities every day. If you talk sustainability, there will be opportunities. If you talk food, there is opportunity. So any across industries, there are newer opportunities coming every day. Pharma, everything.
This is interesting, and I want to talk about what you're seeing from a global mobility trend standpoint. We do have a couple questions here. I'm gonna get to these and honor these folks who have left questions patiently waiting here. Richard says, "Is mobility India and China the most significant in the future?"
I would say India definitely is, because there's so much potential here that is still untapped. And China definitely, for the speed at which they are growing and the kind of infrastructure they have is far better than what we have in India. So I'm sure between the two markets, we have the consumers, they have the infrastructure, and it's a question of which one is going to raise again.
I can't tell the way he wrote this if he means India to China or vice versa. Is that a popular lane, if you will, of mobility?
Not that I see. I don't know too many Chinese expats in India.
Where do you see most expats coming from?
18% of the expat population is American.
Is that the highest percentage?
Yeah, that's the highest percentage. 18% of it is American. So that's the data that I have from the HSBC Global Report that is giving.
Wow, 18% is American. Do you think that? I mean, where's India's kind of rank, or how popular is it, would you say, in your opinion, as a destination?
We're not. We're supposedly 18th out of 33 countries. So all the misconceptions people like me have to keep breaking down and telling them that you can come down. I'll tell you why. Expat life is a very cushy life. I've been telling this to everybody. When you come here as an expat,
talk to me about this. Pitch me on an assignment to India, because people tell me it's wonderful, and I just got back from London, and that was really nice. And I'm thinking, okay, where's going to be my global assignment? Where am I going to do my 6 to 12 months? So pitch me on this expat assignment.
So that again, Ben, if you had a choice to pick a city that you would live in, it would go with your personality. Would you like to be in a city like Mumbai, which is like 24/7, buzzing with activity, like a New York and, it's Hong Kong and so on?
I like that.
Yeah. So if you were to live in Mumbai, then you will know that you will be living in some of the best expat neighborhoods with fancy apartments. You will have a car at your disposal. You're going to be invited to clubs and you will have membership in clubs. What are you going to miss out? You have, you can go to concerts, you can travel every corner of India, which itself is going to be a discovery for you. Because today, I will tell you, India has some of the best resorts which are on par with anywhere in the world. And we have a huge, rich natural heritage. So I am a speaker on the Ministry of Tourism as well about traveling in India, because I have personally traveled to every nook and corner of India, which has not yet been discovered by many Indians themselves. So if you want to travel into India, again, that's another thing. People can't say, I want to travel to India, but where? Do you want the mountains? Do you want the beaches? Do you want the forest? Do you want... So there's so much for you to... So if you were to go to Mumbai and then you say that, okay, I've had this, I'm done with this, busy life and I want to go to a more quiet place, then you come to quieter places. Perhaps Chennai is one of those. It gives you tradition, it gives you a lot of culture, it's steeped in culture, it gets you a good work-life balance because you will have enough time. People call it a sleepy city, or it can be boring and so on. But the fact is, this is where you can get home after work and yet go catch a movie. You can go for a concert. So that work-life balance is something that you will find in a city like Chennai. So every city is different. And it depends on your personality and also your luck, because your company might decide you have to be in that city and you may not like it, for all you know.
Yeah,
But
this is interesting. I would love to go visit. I would love to go visit and see. Maybe I'll go for a look-see trip and see if it's for me. Where would you? So if I want to say, Bindu, I'm thinking about going to India for maybe an assignment, or maybe I'm thinking about moving my business. Maybe I'm thinking about opening a branch of my consultancy in India, and I want to go check it out. Where would you recommend that I consider?
that again will depend on your business. So your consumers will decide where you move, depending on what business it is. If you have IT, then your consumers could be in Chennai, it could be Bangalore, it could be Hyderabad. It's all South India. If you're looking at a marketing, an FMCG, then you know which market it would be. But then newer markets are opening up. So you will have to pick the region first then. If you're launching a particular brand, like I said, it depends on your consumers. So your business will drive where you come to. There are so many expats. I know an American client who's been here. He came here saying he wanted to set up an IT offshore business here. He's been here for more than 10 years now. He's even become a grandfather. So it's just that your consumers will drive the decision wherever the market is. And then after you come here, you will start discovering newer markets, and you can develop new markets based on what your business is.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. What would you say the three types of labor, or three best kind of skills maybe for someone that was looking to open a company in India or open an office in India? What are some three of the skills maybe they come for most often?
Today it's IT, and then the manufacturing sector. They come. There are many manufacturing. In fact, there are about 40,000 multinational companies in India, and 20 car brands, automotive brands in India, of which 9 are in Chennai, in the city I live. Chennai, by the way, has earned the moniker of Detroit of India, because we have about 9 car automotive brands here, from BMW to even Citroën has come today. So, I mean, this is why I say that if you look at Chennai being a city that is, you can call it conservative, you can call it a little less, action oriented, unlike Mumbai, then you have the best of manufacturing here. So all the automotive companies and the tire companies and the ancillaries and everything will be set up. So this whole place is ideal for those who are setting up shop like that. It depends on the business that you have. So labor, yes, definitely IT, manufacturing, financial sector, huge pool of talent. India, I think, produces the maximum number of engineers every year, if I'm right. I don't have the number, unfortunately, but engineering, it's an engineering hub.
Yeah. This is really interesting. So it sounds like IT, engineering, manufacturing, This is great here. Preet says India expat life is she as is China. I was an expat there as a global mobility consultant for Cummins for 3 years and lived a high life. I appreciated it for sure. She was in Shanghai in China. Really interesting. We've got some other great questions here. I've got a question from my buddy Danny, who runs Glomo Talent, and he says, "What is the job market like in India right now?"
I call it the post-COVID spring. I'm not going to talk about what happened. I'm talking about what is likely to happen, because I see people are buzzing back to work. Even expats are coming down, which means we had like a dry patch for the last 1.5 years. So I'm at all levels, I see this picking up. A lot of people were without jobs. Unemployment was like anywhere else. But I would say that I can see that it's all getting better. All the restaurants are opening, the malls are opening up, which means people are moving out, and the festive season is coming up. So the job market is good because you need more people to sell your products. So from August onwards, if the festive season starts in India, it goes on right until January, and there is no end. Actually, we joke about it saying that June and July are the only boring months in India because there's no festival to celebrate, and we'll still discover some festival from somewhere, and we'll celebrate it. So almost every month we have maybe an average of 2 festivals which are big. So I would say
I love these ideas of these festivals, by the way. So it sounds like the job market's hot, but can we talk about these festivals just for a second? Because I like to have some fun. I like to be festive. So how do we celebrate in India? Because I know how we celebrate in the US.
Festivals are all about family again. It's about community celebration. Family is big in India. The concept of family itself is big. We are probably the only culture that still continues the joint family system. So, men will still live with their parents, and it's almost obligatory to live with your parents. So a man gets married, he brings his wife home, and then they live with their elderly parents, not the wife's parents, but the man's parents. And it just continues. You can go on like that. So, but this family system is what keeps Indians strong through all the challenges. That's another advantage. So if you have a festival, then it's about the entire family. You celebrate Christmas, right, in the Western world. That's once when everybody will meet up. This is like every month or more.
Yeah, we I would say we have like our festive season is probably Thanksgiving through New Year's.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
America.
So
right.
So like, and maybe if you want to get really crazy, maybe like October, like maybe like Halloween, right? Like October 31st, we start dressing up, we trick or treat, then we get into Thanksgiving time, the fall, then we get into like Christmas, Hanukkah, kind of thing, and then we get into New Year's, and then it's like, all right, shake off the hangover, back to work, sometime mid-January.
But we celebrate Halloween too. We celebrate every festival that's from all over the world now.
I love it.
Not just, but each festival is celebrated differently. And like when you say New Year, for the Indian New Year, I'm not talking about the Jan 1st, but the Indian New Year we have based on our calendar, and the Indian calendar based on the stars and so many other aspects. And that a New Year can be celebrated different months in different states of India. So
really,
yeah.
How is that based on different religions, or what would you base that on?
No, Hindu religion is the largest, of course, and whatever I'm talking about in terms of rituals, it's to do with the Hindu religion. Whether you like it or not, Hinduism, again, we say is not a religion but a way of life in India. And you see that 80% of what rituals you see in India would be related to the Hindu religion, right? So if there's somebody opening a factory, and this is funny, you actually have, let's say, an automotive brand like Hyundai is coming to open a factory. They would actually follow the ritual of breaking a coconut. You just throw a coconut and break it into 2. It's basically to shatter all the obstacles, remove all the evil eyes, and then you start it on a good note. So everything is based on rituals here, and most of the rituals would be associated with the Hindu religion. So
no, that's awesome. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Every state has their own way of celebrating. Even Diwali, which is the festival of lights, is celebrated with different stories and in different ways across India.
This is great. Rob saying the US needs more large-scale festivals. I agree. Preet is saying wedding season is huge now coming. This is also a bucket list thing for me, is going to an Indian wedding. I've never been to an Indian wedding.
Oh, you
I hear they're epic.
Yeah.
I need more Indian friends to get married. I feel like I missed the boat almost in a weird way because I'm getting too old now. All my friends have all got married, and I kind of missed out. Actually, my sister's getting married in 2 weeks. Actually, pretty cool.
You should
But
tell her to do, because we Indians, the Indian celebrities are going all the way to Italy to get married. They're going to Spain to get married. So you should tell her to come to India and get married.
I will. I'm gonna say, hey, forget all your plans. Let's go to India and get married. That's great. Wedding season's coming. This is fantastic. We got a question here from Aaron. Aaron says, Bendu, you spoke about the poverty. Does the business world in India rally together to do things similar to our Move for Hunger food campaign? Are there fundraisers and ways that companies can contribite to help alleviate that?
Plenty. I must say that the rich in India really do their bit. I mean, it's across industries, across societies, everybody's doing their bit. And the government also has a mandatory corporate social responsibility. You have to put aside a certain amount of your budget for that every year. So there's plenty to, and there's enough opportunity to give. Actually, you don't even need to do large fundraising campaigns. Your domestic help at home, you just take care of her. That's enough. If you educate her child, and that itself is one child educated in India, and every household will have at least one domestic help. And she may have 2 children, 3 children sometimes. That's where the population comes from, right? So if you buy a child a laptop, even if it's a second-hand laptop, that's big, especially in today's digital world where education has gone online. Children need gadgets today. The whole family of 4 or 5 is using one phone. And I know people, and I'm not even talking about poor people. And I'm talking about, so we have layers, right? So the lower strata of society, I know people whose fathers are laborers, and they have one phone and they use it for everything.
So Preet has invited me to her cousin's wedding in November in Delhi.
Don't miss the opportunity. Grab it.
Don't miss the opportunity. Preet, send me the details. I don't know how I'm going to get away with this one.
You just need to learn a few Bollywood dance steps, and because you will have to dance. The celebrations are across 5. I'll ask you a question. Just take a guess. How many people attend an Indian wedding on an average? A regular Indian wedding. I'm not even talking about the big celebrity weddings. Just take a guess, wild guess. How many people would be there?
I'm going to say, just got to know a little something about it. I know that they last for weeks. I know that I'm going to say 400, 500 people.
1,000 people? Easily.
What? Get out of here. 1,000 people? 1,000. How do you afford? How does that?
No, but can you imagine what happened after COVID and people had to just stick to 25 people in a wedding? No. It was emotional. It was emotional. It wasn't even about the wedding halls losing out on the money and the contracts. It's about, how can I have a wedding with just 25 people? It's not even a wedding. So it's beautiful though. I mean, you just come and see the number of people. Yeah. Imagine the food that is served. And
I want to go. I'm not even kidding. I might have to do this. I don't how much is a okay. Well, we'll take this offline. I'm gonna do the math offline. This is great.
Seriously planning, yeah.
The wheels are turning here.
Yeah.
Mike Falia checking in. Yes, Mike, thank you for being here. Christina, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Jamie, if you're still on, I'd love to hear a corporate housing question. Let me ask you, Bindu, do you and there's Farrell, do you do anything with housing? Do you offer temporary housing or corporate housing, or do you help them with real estate?
We do. Of course. Yeah. I was with a South African client from World Bank just 2 days back, 9th and 10th, I was with him. So when a client comes down to India, we do a thorough needs assessment even before they come down. We want to know what size of the family, what their preferences are, what the spouse, we focus a lot on the spouse, because I believe that if the woman, that's a very, very important theory in India, if the woman is happy in India, then the man's relocation assignment is a success. Trust me, I worked with expats at all the top levels, from Nokia to Ford, to anywhere you can ask me, and I can tell you that the man is concerned about his wife and children being happy. Now the children go to school, right? The children will go to school, and it would be an international school, so they seamlessly fit in there. They don't really miss much, except that they'll see some new colored faces, but that's fine. They're going to, they will be in an international school, American international, Canadian international, German, whatever. The man is going to work, and you're going to be in those glass cabins, and everything looks fine, and you're just working like anybody anywhere else in the world. And what does the spouse do? She's left her career. She's left her friend circle. She's probably left her family. She's moving from, let's say, a small town in Germany, and she comes to a city like Mumbai. She doesn't even know whom to trust. She's not used to the concept of having domestic help having around, in the house. You lose your sense of privacy.
Right.
But you still need to be there. That person has to be there because you need help with cleaning. And you're going to be living in these huge apartments. I know Japanese clients, heading companies, they come here, they're used to living in smaller apartments. And when they come here, they have the budgets to live in those beautiful big beach villas. And they're actually culturally shocked because they cannot imagine living in a place like that. They're not comfortable. They're just intimidated by the size. So we have different kinds of, like if you move to Mumbai, because of the real estate cost, like in New York or Hong Kong and anywhere else in Sydney and so on, the smaller apartments itself will, cost as much as it would for a beach villa in a city like mine in Chennai. So all kinds of housing options are available. It would depend on the factors that will decide where you take your house. Also is about commute to the office or commute to the school, which most expats are concerned about. How many minutes will it take for my child to get to school? So it has to be around the vicinity of the school too. So,
wow, lot to consider there. But I mean, I love what you're saying about the spouse being key. I mean, we have sayings like that here in the States as well.
Right.
So that's great. Preet saying the spouse has to be the puzzle of life, to put the puzzle of life, a routine, etc., together in a new country, but the partner has a silver platter of a routine, going to work every day.
Yeah.
That's And
the spouses, we realize that the spouses need to feel cerebrally stimulated. It's not about, okay, I'm just going to come here and I'm going to make use of these 2 years and live life wild, and I can go shopping, I can do whatever I want, I can go with my girls for lunch. That's not what they want. They want to also keep in touch with their stream of whatever they have been doing in their career all this while. So they want to know if they're not allowed to work here, so they can, because of the visa that does not allow them to work. So they ask us we do that. We connect them to organizations where they can probably volunteer, they can be advisors depending on their skills.
Sure. What would you say is the number one reason for a failed assignment in India?
I would say it's all about setting expectations. If you set their expectations right before they move to India, before they even sign on the dotted lines. I started work in this industry in 2006. Those were the glorious days of expat relocation, even for India. So when an assignee was coming in, they would come on a look-see trip with the family, spend a couple of days, look at the city, look at the housing options, stay, and we would, make sure that they're happy because the company wants them to sign on the dotted line. And once they sign on the dotted line, after they have said, I want this, I want this, I want this, everything included, you don't even have to pay for a needle here. So I'm saying when all that is included in the expat assignment, then they move, right? By then they understand what they're coming for, what they're going to give up, and what they will probably get in return for the 2 years they are spending here. There would be spouses and even children, especially during the teenage group, they're not comfortable moving. They don't want to be uprooted from their familiar surroundings. Right. That is the toughest age group to relocate, actually, because they have their friend circles, the familiarity. They don't want to come to another country. And
we don't even really, honestly, I don't even think they really try it that much here in the States.
Yes.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I mean, you try moving a teenage girl or boy, who's got their friends, maybe they got athletics, they got extracurriculars, they've got their clubs, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I mean, they will burn your house down. Like, they are not going anywhere.
They're not going to be happy about it, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's a huge emotional decision, and it takes a lot of convincing, which is why we get on a call before they even move. We have the call where we give them the overview, and we sit down with the wife. And sometimes I even show them how they're going to see women with saris, the Indian saris. Even that is so different. Nowhere else in the world will you find women wearing saris every day. The funniest thing is India has a huge coastal line. I was trying to look up the number, but you will not find women in swimwear in the coast and in the beach side. They would wear what they're wearing. They would wear the saris or the Indian dresses, and all they would it's like all they would dip in the water is their feet. That's it. That's culturally shocking. You may not even find women in a swimming pool unless they belong to a certain society, or they have club memberships. Women in swimwear is uncommon. It's not like, so you have to understand that if they see a Westerner, which is why I had written an article on being safe in India for the Mobility magazine from the Worldwide ERC a few years back. I have given clearly what a woman needs to know before she comes to India from the safety point of view, because even that has blown out of proportion, where they talk about the rape cases in India. And then I hear, when you look at the statistics, apparently at one point in time, not now, Sweden was the highest. And even US was there, not India, not on the top. But the media, the way they present, that's what I'm against. I mean, I understand media has a role to play in the good and the bad of the society and how it shapes the thinking. But I think media has always blown the negative aspects of the society, especially for countries like India.
Yeah.
Vinny says Indian weddings are the best in the world. He's experienced
I know.
it.
I'm over here trying to have a serious conversation about women's issues. And Vinny, Aaron, I feel like we're having another conversation about how we're going to this wedding right now. Vinny's going to be my +1 at this wedding, as if I got an invitation. Do you need invitations to go to these weddings, or is it just like, hey, I heard there's a wedding going on. I know Preet's cousin's getting married.
You ideally do need an invitation, but let me also tell you, Indians are still kind of enamored by the Western, folks. So if you walk in and say, can I just, just be charming and say, can I just be part of this wedding? Of course. And so we have this saying in India, which is Atithi Devo Bhava. It's a Sanskrit term. It's a phrase which says the guest is God. So if you walk in, they could think that, okay, it could be God in disguise. It's a beautiful belief. That's all. But it's just symbolic, right? So anybody who comes in is welcome, and nobody's going to tell you, oh, but you're not part of this. No, you can come, but they will make sure that if you go there, you have to eat their food, you have to take part in all their celebrations, feel happy, and you should tell them that how much you enjoyed. That is important. So
I love it. And I love the clothes too, because all the clothes are they all custom made? I feel there's a lot of custom
mostly custom made, but it's available off the shelf, pret-a-porter. But you should understand that it's even better for women to be in Indian weddings, because then you look like queens. What can men wear anyway? I mean, that's it. You can wear maybe a little different, a longish shirt or something, but it's really nothing.
I judge it up a little bit, I judge it. We got to talk about what I'm going to wear to this wedding. We need to have a Zoom about this. Let's get the tailor involved. Make sure we can all get on the same page here. This sounds amazing. I wanted to ask, from a mobility perspective, right? So the folks that are watching this, presumably in the relocation and mobility industry, what opportunity is there for us as a community to inform our stakeholders about the opportunity that is in India? What would you have us know, and what would you have us say, maybe to dispel maybe some of the misconceptions out there?
I think I go back to, it's probably the only country that will teach you diversity to begin with. It will also be perhaps the only country that will teach you gratitude, because when you come down here and you see people around you who live, even your domestic, you will have domestic help, but what she earns will be a minuscule percentage of what you would even pay for an hour out there. So I'm saying it puts things in perspective when you come here. I know so many expats who tell me, we bring our children to show them what it is to be entitled and how much they can learn. And I'm sure there are many other countries to teach you this, but you can get the best of both worlds. You will be living, like for instance, in Mumbai, most of the apartments are tall, beautiful skyscrapers, especially if you come in as an expat, and you can have the best of apartments. But when you look out, you have no choice. You have to look at the slums. You will look, that is shocking sometimes, because the Western world or the most advanced nations cannot see poverty in your face every day because you feel guilty about how you're living your life. But that is the truth. You just have to learn to coexist, which means you will learn to give more, you will learn to be happier a lot more. And I'm sure when you go back, you take lessons from here, which you will apply in your society, and you become a little more mindful of how you live. Sometimes you take everything for granted in advanced nations, right? I mean, it's just there. You don't realize. Even internet connectivity, as simple as that. Power, you probably lose power when there is a hurricane. We lose power, like I can just sit here and boom, it could just go. So it just
Right.
teaches you many things in life.
Yeah.
And it teaches you family values, because if you go to work, people in your office, at your workplace, will not be like colleagues that you see outside. They're more like family. They would bring lunch for you, they would bring stuff for you, they will invite you home. They will invite you for weddings, they will invite you for festivals. And chances are that, when you go there, you don't feel like you're in a colleague's house. So I had an American client who had come here for a Fulbright scholarship, and he came here and he was supposed to go to some place for dinner. And because the queue was a little long, I lived right opposite the restaurant. I told him, why don't you just come over? Because he came with my friend. I said, come over and let's just sit and chat until then. And then the queue was still long. I said, I had lovely Indian chicken curry. Mm-hmm. And I had the rice pancakes that we make in South India. They're called dosa. And I said,
sure.
Yeah. I said, so if you don't mind, I can make dosa and I have good chicken curry. So would you mind? And he was overwhelmed, because for an American, you have to, ask for an appointment. Can I come for dinner at 7:00 on Tuesday? No, you just walk in. I have food and I give you. And he actually ate about 12 to 13 dosas, licking his finger, until my friend said, will you stop making for him? Because he's not going to leave. And he still is in touch with me. And he feels that incident kind of made him feel so different about his own society. So every day will teach you something or the other.
Yeah. That's a wonderful lesson. I love what you said there. You said it's the only country that'll teach you gratitude.
Yeah.
And gratitude and diversity. It's so interesting that we don't think of that when we think about like going on assignment. We go on assignment, we do rotations, we go to countries to learn skill sets. We go to the marketing arm over here, we go to the manufacturing arm over here, we learn these different disciplines. But to learn, I guess, perhaps you could look at them like skills, but to learn traits, characteristics, and character traits, I think is really, I think that's something that could be even more powerful than learning an individual skill.
What you will learn, Ben, is that, so many expats have again asked me in the last 15 years, these questions keep coming back to me. I keep saying I should write a little kind of a handy book about the questions that expats have asked me. How do Indians smile despite all the challenges? Now, when you come and land in India and you just go from the airport, you're driving from the airport to your hotel, you look around and you will see so many visuals, right? Like I said, it kind of invades your senses, And then you will see everybody smiling. The lady who's sweeping your office, she'll be smiling. The man who's selling coconuts, the lady who is, stringing flowers, they all look very happy, because Indians also believe in destiny. We just say it's very easy to accept your reality by saying we're destined to live like this. If destiny has it, we will improve our lifestyle. We will work hard. We'll continue to work hard. But if we are destined to live a better life, it will happen. So, and the layers, like the domestic help, will look at somebody lower and tell, I have had people who actually take a portion of what we give them. We give them a cake after a birthday. She will take it and say, my neighbor does not have, a father. Maybe I'll go give it to her. So you know what it is? It's layers out there. So you will learn that everybody can be happy with what you have. That is so important, right? You can smile despite everything. Yeah.
That's a great lesson. Smile despite everything and be happy with what you have. This is fantastic. Aaron says this is beautiful. Yes, it is, Aaron. This is fantastic. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed to have you here today, Bendu. But we're not done yet. We got a top 5. You got a top 5 today for us, Bendu?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What is your top 5
So
today, Bendu?
I think this is the most important thing. What expats must know before coming here, right? And I would
Love it.
say,
I love it. I got to get ready. I got to get ready for my big wedding in November. So let me know, what do I need to know before I come?
yeah. So I think it is. You first need to accept the fact that it is going to be a multicultural society that you have here. That is something,
All right.
right?
Let's see. Let's start with number 5. Let's start number 5.
Okay. We don't have one culture and one language. So that itself is a big learning for somebody who's coming here. You think you're coming to India and India speaks Hindi. No, we don't. And you are going to get away with English anywhere you go, because unless you are working in a manufacturing plant and you want to learn the local language. So India is multicultural, multilingual, and multi-experiential, I would say.
Multicultural, multilingual, and multi-experiential. I like it. Number 4.
It is not a country of cows, elephants, and snake charmers alone.
Alone.
I'm
So
saying alone
there
because
are cows, elephants, and snake charmers, but that is not all there is.
so we don't have lane systems in our cities. We have anybody can drive anywhere. You'll have a scooterist and a BMW and a cyclist and a bus and a cow, and the cow could be sitting on the main road refusing to budge. But that is India for you. You have to find your way. So you will find all of this, and that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, it's like a basket of many things put in front of you, and you just need to say how beautiful that is.
Love it. Number 3.
There's nothing you can not ask an Indian. You can ask me my age, you can even ask me my salary, and I won't be shocked because it's quite common. At the same time, be prepared that the same can happen to you. When you come here, and if you are, let's say you're 30 plus and you're still single, the first thing they'll ask you is, why aren't you married? Where's your wife? Right? Don't ever come here and tell a landlord of a house that this is my partner and that is our son and we plan to get married 5 years from now. No, that can be like shocking. You may not even get your house. Yeah.
Well, so and when you say and vice versa, now is there an obligation to answer the question do they answer either way, both ways?
I teach them how to answer. I tell them to answer with a smile and just brush it off, because somebody can ask you, you must be earning so well, you're working with Ford, right? And you just have to smile. But how much would you be getting? And then the second question and the third question. So you just need to smile enough to keep my family happy, or you make those. You have to just work around those questions, but you will have those questions. Why don't you have a baby? Why do you leave your children behind in your house there? Why don't you bring them along? How do you stay without them? So,
all right. So I just smile and nod and brush it off. Okay, got it. I love it. This is fantastic. I think I would enjoy this. Number 2.
If you don't know cricket, you're in for trouble, because you must know the basics.
I don't know anything about cricket. I learned more in the taxi going to the airport at Heathrow yesterday than I knew about cricket before. Yeah.
You have to learn about cricket, because let's say there is an IPL match, the Indian Premier League, which has taken the Indian world by storm around the globe. Okay, every Indian, even across the globe, is watching IPL right now. It's all set to start in Dubai, in the Middle East. So if you don't know names like Virat Kohli, who's a handsome cricketer, who's the most energetic and he's the most inspiring cricketer for the entire generation of young Indians today, and the better part, he's married to a Bollywood star who's also a leading celebrity and inspiring so many young girls out there. So if you don't know this couple, it's like I wouldn't even compare them to Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, because you know what, these guys are much better. I mean, in the sense, they have their skills. Both of them have their skills, and they're way more inspiring and worth being a fan of. So if you don't know names like that, Sachin Tendulkar is God. If you don't know those names, then when you have a match, you're going to have people in the office, they cannot work. You have to excuse them. Post lunch, forget it. If there's a match through the night, don't expect them to come to work next morning. You'll be having people calling in sick. So
Oh, wow. Wow. So plan
that's
around the
cricket for
cricket
you.
games.
Yes.
Wow. This is great. You know what? I don't know anything about cricket, but I love sports and I love watching them with people that are fanatical about them because I'm fanatical about my sports. So I can get into it if other people are into it.
This is 1.39 billion following cricket. So it's not like
it's a lot of
baseball or football and so on.
Do they watch it in pubs? So I was in England and everybody would watch their football club in the pub and support. Do they watch it in pubs? Do they watch it at home? Do they watch it in like a public
They watch it at
area?
home as a family.
As a
And
family.
the concept of watching it in cafes and pubs are now it's more of the last 20 years or so. We used to watch the F1 every Sunday at some cafe, and so it's like that.
Okay, interesting.
It's big.
Vinny's saying, love it. Football is a religion in Brazil. So many similarities. I'm loving it. Jana's saying, be happy with what you have. This is great. Vinny's saying, Bendu, this is the one thing Indian and Brazilians are very similar, regardless of all the huge struggles that we have. People are happy. That is the best way to live our lives to the fullest. That is so true. All my Brazilian friends, Vinny, Jana, Juliana, Patricia, they're all so happy and joyful. So that's wonderful.
Small things make us happy.
Love it. I love it. We could definitely learn from that. Number one.
Yeah. Bollywood is not about so Bollywood is Indian films, but that's not the only. Every state again has their own language films, and the numbers can be as many. So if you know Bollywood stars, if you know Bollywood songs, if you know Bollywood dances, great. It's good. But that's not the only thing. It's not just contained to one city, one region, which is everybody associates Bollywood with Mumbai, right? But you need to know that the film industry is big. About 1,600 to 1,800 films every year are produced. I think we are the world's third largest or the largest. I have the number.
No, the first. I think India, actually, I Googled this before. Is actually the largest producer of films in the world, larger than the US, more than twice as large as the third one, which was,
we are the largest.
A lot. So let me ask you this. So I've only seen a couple Indian movies, and I'm not even sure if they were made in India. So what would you say if I'm going to say, hey, honey, let's have some wine tonight. Let's watch an Indian film. Can you give me one or two that I should just watch?
I will pick some of them from my favorite, but I'll say that there is one film called Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, which means life doesn't give you a second chance. I'll send you it's a fantastic movie of, it's three boyfriends, three boys going on a holiday, and how the dynamics of their friendship over the years and how they've changed, what corporate world has done to some, what creativity has done to some, and then girlfriends. And it's a beautiful movie. Beautiful.
This is great. Preet saying Indian movies are now on Netflix. I love it. Sounds good.
Plenty.
Preet, throw in some recommendations in the comments. If you have any Indian films that you would recommend, throw them in there. I'd love some recommendations. I'm getting set. So I got to study my Bollywood. I got to study my cricket. I've got to get a nice. So I know women wear saris. What do men wear? What is that called?
Men wear the boring shirts and pants, but they have a kurta, the dress. You would have seen that in other countries like Pakistan. You will see those long flowing shirts. It's a lengthier shirt basically, and the pants would be a little bit loose.
I love it. That's my go-to.
Long shirts and almost like pajamas.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm all in on this. Also, a matchmaking series, also made in Heaven series. Yeah, I saw the matchmaking series. That was, yeah. Oh, look at that! Look at Sandra. Look at that, Sandra.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is great. This has been so fun, Bindu. I've learned so much, and really, more importantly, I think I've piqued my interest, and I really want to come over, and I just got to figure out a way. Yeah, I got to figure out a way
And
to
I
do
mean
that.
that. Yes, yes.
Well, thank you very much. I might have to. I know the record for dosa eating is 13 in your house, so I might have to come set a new record and
Yes.
eat a bunch of dosa. Bendu, this is phenomenal. I just wanted to ask you, do you want to leave us with any final word or final thought, Bendu?
I want to tell people you must come to India and experience it at least once in your life, because it's one of those experiences you will never forget. So if you want to have a relocation assignment which is memorable, stay with you no matter which stage of life you are in, and India is the place for it.
Lovely. I think you made a great case. Also, I'm ready to go. I'm so excited about it. Bendu, you've been amazing.
Thank you
so
much.
much
I loved
for
it.
being here.
Yeah,
This is
always
great.
loving.
This is
Thank
great.
you.
I got to have more. We got to have like an India week. We have to have an
Possibly.
India week. Yeah, we're going to have to work on this. Bendu, you're going to be my ambassador. We're going to have an India week. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Just a reminder to everybody out there, if you haven't done so already, please follow our Love and Relo page on LinkedIn. We're going to be pushing a lot of special exclusive content out on the Love and Relo LinkedIn page. So please go and follow that. Right now, I think we got about 900 subscribers on that. So let's get that over 1,000, please. And please invite your friends as well. We got some great jobs on there. If you have anything you want to share on there, let us know. Feel free to share it yourself, or we can post as well. Appreciate y'all for that. Thank you so much, Rob. Also, don't forget, it's Move for Hunger Action Month. Donate and $70 gets you a t-shirt and socks combo. All money goes to charity to assist in hunger relief. Every Thursday in the month of September, we are going to be doing a Move for Hunger episode. This week, we will be live. For the rest of the week, we'll be live in St. Pete, Florida at the Don Cesar Hotel. And we're going to be broadcasting live from the Southeastern Regional Relocation Council, SRRC, starting tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. So check us out all week for that. And I want to say a big special thank you to our super producer, Stacy Huff. She does a phenomenal job every day. I see you, Stacy. Thank you so much back there. And our technical expert and advisor, Tim Quirk. Thank you so much back there. And Jana Chazanowski as well, who is our assistant producer, I'll say. Thank you so much for everybody and everything you do. Couldn't do it without you. And to all of you who watched today and continue to watch, thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. Hit that applause button, that like button. I appreciate you all for being here today. We wouldn't have a show without you all. So thank you for getting active in the comments, and take care. And we will see you tomorrow.